Be a short video on a mini dual drive base that you can use for your robot projects. This one piece, this prints is one piece without any supports. What you hear rattling around is a battery box that I already have slid in there. You can put a 3-cell or a 2-cell in there. I've already screwed in a switch that I'm going to be using. To hold the battery box in place, there's a little, I got a screw in it already. It's a little tab thing here, and there's a place on the bottom. I'm just using a short number 2 self-tapping screw, and just put that in, and then when you turn it, that'll hold the battery from coming in. Only one part that you want to glue on is this little, we're going to use it as a caster drag, whatever you want to call it, but just put a little bit of your favorite PLA glue on there. This is Weld-On number 16 that I'm using right here. And it's going to go right in the middle in the back, right where the battery box was. And let me cap off this glue. There we go. And for the motors, I'm still just going to be using the generic TT motors. You can get in 2 different gear ratios, the high speed and the low speed. But in this case, we're going to be putting 2 of them in side by side. So you'll want to take and remove one of the drive shafts. I'm going to remove this one that'll be on the inside. Just take some nippers and snip it off. Then there'll be this wheel part that prints flat on the bed, and get a rubber O-ring from your generic rubber O-ring kit to snap on there for traction. And as you can see, it has a slot that's going to match the motor. And I'm using a short number 2 self-tapping screw to hold it on. It's not like it wouldn't stay there without it though, it would. Then they just drop down in like that. And here in America we have a 632 screws are fairly common, so I'm going to use a 632 screw in the hole provided to screw the motor in place. I think that becomes like what, a 3.5 or 4 millimeter elsewhere, I don't know. Anything generic will hold it in, just keeps the motor from falling out. So each motor gets its own screw, like so. So now you have a base with 2 motors with dual drive. All of this area is provided for mounting whatever your control is going to be. If you're going Arduino, or if you're going radio control, or if you're going to use sensor modules like Arduino modules, maybe a sound sensor or a light sensor or a heat sensor or a motion detector or a distance sensor. These all give you places to mount everything. That way everything, the battery, the switch, the motors, everything's contained on this one frame. And if you design your project that way, and then you can design a body. In this case I designed my body in 2 parts that can fit over it like that, and there's place provided for some mounting screws that'll hold it on. A switch could be right there in the back, and if you design a top that'll fit right on there. In this case I brought up a vertical piece where I can put 2 LEDs which will end up illuminating the eyes, and a place to put screws. But you can design your own body. What we're really talking about here today is just the universal base that you can do whatever you want, because you could run it without, just like that. A few of the different things that I did with it. I did a smaller sonic robot. There's a very small little table here, but every time you blow the whistle, this table isn't going to be big enough to show you, but every time it detects the whistle, it's going to change from going forward to turning, for example. And I did a little radio controlled one as well. Much smaller than the original universal base. This would be the original one, which you can see doesn't even fit on camera. It's so big. You can get it down here. So if you have use for a small universal dual drive base, then I'll put the file up on Thingiverse and you can print the base, the wheels, the coaster, the battery lock, and do what you like with it.